I made my obligatory Beatles ranking all the albums video a couple of weeks ago, and as soon as I made it, I realized, even during making that video, that I have Help, the album Help, probably a bit higher than most Beatle fans would have it, except Chasing the Old Millennial, who commented under the video. He's also, seems, a fan of Help. Good taste as always, Jason. Yeah, and I'm like him. I'm a big fan of that album, but that doesn't mean I can't see its faults. You know, it's usually in the second half, ranked in the second half by most people, like 7th, 8th, 9th, maybe even 10th favorite Beatle albums, which I think is a bit unfair, but I can see why people have a problem with it, and I think the main reason is, and they may not even be aware of it, it's sequenced wrongly. It's not the fault of the Beatles that it's sequenced that way, one could say, because they had enormous time pressure during the making of that album, and it would have been impossible, you know, in the end to make it differently, because they had to record the songs for the movie Help, of course, prior to filming that movie. So those songs were in a hurry. I had to record this in like January, February 65, then film the movie. And when they got back from filming the movie, fortunately they didn't have the title yet. The working title was 8 Arms to Hold You, but they weren't able to write a song with that title. So that inspired John Lennon to write the song, the great song Help, probably the best, alongside Yesterday, the best song on that album. And that was recorded after the principal filming had taken place. And then in April, you know, also in a hurry, they recorded side B, because they had to go on tour and Beatlemania and things like that. So it was a bit hurried, and there was no other way to sequence it differently, I guess. By that time, they also aimed to have 14-track albums for the British version, so they didn't have enough Lennon-McCartney or Harrison songs, so they also recorded for the B-side of the album 2 covers, Act Naturally and Dizzy Miss Lizzy, which are 2 of the worst covers. After that album, you know, starting with Rubber Soul, they omitted covers pretty much for the rest of their career. So I made a resequencing of the album, and I left off those 2 covers. And with this resequencing, you know, I want to demonstrate that had they approached Help a bit differently and maybe with a bit more time, you know, when they made Revolver, for example, and with Sgt. Pepper even more, so they had more time, so they could really think about what they want to do with an album. And had they done it that way with Help, they could have come up with an album that I would say is almost as good as, you know, the great albums from the middle period, Rubber Soul, Revolver, Sgt. Pepper, you know, some of the best albums of all time. Help could have been that good. My resequencing looks like this. It would start off, of course, with Help. That's maybe the only track that doesn't change its position. Then track 2, Yesterday. You know, imagine, just listen to my sequence. The 1-2 punch of Help, Yesterday. That would be one of the best starts to any album ever. Track 3, You've Got to Hide Your Love Away. Track 4, George's song I Need You. Track 5, I've Just Seen Your Face. Track 6, and the last song on the side A, You're Going to Lose That Girl. And as you can see, people often say that Rubber Soul is the folk rock album, especially the American version. You know, this side, this would be considered the folk album. Side B is maybe not as strong as side A, but you know, that's just the material that they had at that time. Starts off with Another Girl. It's track 7. Track 8, Ticket to Ride. Track 9, The Night Before. Track 10, You Like Me Too Much. Track 11, It's Only Love. And track 12, Tell Me What You See. You know, resequence it and listen to it that way if you want. I think this would be a great album, and then it would be undisputed that Help is one of the best albums. Then it's not just, like in my ranking, the 6th best Beatles album. Then it really would be, I would say, a top 5 Beatles album. And yeah, I thought it's, you know, it's maybe some Beatle nerds interesting to look at this that way. Thank you for watching.